Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Stitch Sessions. It's summertime and outdoor dining is the thing to do. So today I thought I would show you how to make a really super easy picnic placemat. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how we use the half double crochet herringbone stitch, and it's really pretty. I decided to use this variegated yarn in the white and red variations in honor of Canada Day as well as the 4th of July, and I thought it'd be really fun. It's super quick and easy, and it's a great way to dress up any outdoor dining scenario, and super fun. So, without further ado, let's grab our materials and let's get stitching. Okay everyone, so we're going to get you started on making your picnic placemat. And as you can see, I've got mine, one of them done here. I'm doing a set of 4. And so I used a stitch called the half double crochet herringbone, or the herringbone half double crochet stitch. And it comes out really, really cool, especially in this fantastic variegated cotton yarn. The only thing is, I think on camera it's not going to be the best for me to show it to you. So I'm going to use slightly more solid color just to take you through how to do this stitch. It's quite easy. I do want to let you know that I tend to use cotton yarn for a lot of home accessories. Now, even though this is for, picnics and things like that, I find for summer things or being outside, cotton is just easier to take care of and maintain. You can easily throw this in the wash. And whereas acrylic, like this yarn is, you can also throw this in the wash too. I'm always worried about the amount of wear and tear and moisture it can take for certain activities. Like this is going to be a placemat, so it's going to be around food, possible moisture, and other things in the elements. So this color, by the way, is called Azalea. And it is the Bernat Handicrafter cotton. It is 100% cotton. Now these balls come in the 42.5 grams. So it looks something similar to this one here. I was not able to find it in the larger balls. Bernat does have the larger 250 gram balls, I believe. I just couldn't find it in this colorway, and I thought, this is perfect for the holidays, going to the cottage, Canada Day, all that fun stuff. So for this particular project, as always, you will need your yarn, a pair of scissors, a darning needle for sewing in your ends. And for this particular project, I am using a 5mm hook, okay? Now, this is one of my favorite hooks to use is the 5mm. You can use a 6. This particular yarn does call for a 5. I also like it because these stitches sit nicely. So it's a slightly tighter stitch without being too tight. You can certainly use a 5.5 or a 6 if you want something a little bit more relaxed. However, for a placemat, I thought having something a little bit more snugly stitched would be good. So let's get you started. We are going to begin this project with a slip knot. And for my placemat, I used a chain count of 40. So I'm just going to show you the edge here. So this is the side of my placemat. So I started from the side and worked my way across. This will depend how deep you'd like your placemat and how long you'd like it. So your measurements may be slightly different than mine. I found that this placemat that I have here took 2 balls. Some people might want to do a slightly longer placemat. So 2 balls works out to approximately just under 90 grams. That I used for this placemat. So if you want yours a little wider and longer, you'd probably need 3 of those balls. So in order to create the height of my placemat, I chained 40 chains, okay? So what I'm gonna do here, because this is a sample piece, I'm going to do a chain of 10. Now for this particular stitch, the herringbone half double crochet, there are no multiples. So however long you would like your project to be, it could be an even number, it could be an odd number. So I'm going to do a chain count of 10 for mine. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And remember to keep this first chain just a little bit more relaxed because it is the side of your work, so you don't want it bunching up. For this case, you may want to go up half or a full hook size if you're a tight crocheter, just to keep it nice and relaxed for the chain, the initial chain row, and then go back to your starting hook. For me, I'm pretty okay with keeping relaxed on my chains, so I'm keeping the same hook. Once you have the number of chains that you would like for your placemat, you will then chain 2 more. 1, 2, okay? This will represent the height of your stitch because we're now going to turn and start working back along the row. So then what we're going to do is into the 3rd chain from the hook. So remember, you never count the chain on your hook, or the loop on your hook, I should say. So you have 1, 2, and into this 3rd one, we are going to do our first herringbone half double crochet. So you will yarn over as you would normally do a half double crochet. You will insert into that chain. You will yarn over to pull through. And you have 3 loops on your hook. And this is where it's going to be different from the usual half double crochet. Normally you would yarn over and pull through all 3, but we are not going to do that. We're actually going to take that last loop and we're going to pull it through that 2nd loop. So now we have 2 loops on the hook. Now you'll yarn over and resolve the stitch. So it will look something like this, which maybe you're thinking it doesn't look like much of anything, which usually at the beginning of a project, most of us think that. So we're going to do it a few more times. So we're going to go into the next chain. So remember, this one's already been worked into. Don't worry if it kind of starts to stretch out. That is quite normal. So we will yarn over and go into the very next stitch, insert our hook, yarn over to pull through, and then we continue to pull through into that previous loop. It's kind of like a slip stitch if you think about it. We have 2 loops on the hook remaining. We'll yarn over and then resolve the stitch. So it's still probably funky to figure out what's going on, but we're going to do a few more all the way across. What happens is by going slip stitching, I'll call it, through the base there, it creates a slight slant in your stitch. So as you work back and forth, it starts to create this really pretty herringbone design. Let me see if we can see it here. So sometimes with this variegated yarn, it's tricky to see, but you can see here, see how it looks like arrows? That is actually the effect of the herringbone stitch. So it comes out really pretty. Okay, so we're going to do that a few more times across this row. So you will yarn over, insert your hook into the very next stitch, yarn over to pull through, and you'll continue to pull through into the next stitch. Whoops. And it can be a little tricky, and sometimes that's going to happen. So just be patient and be a little bit relaxed with it. Okay, so you yarn over and pull through both of them. So again, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over to pull through, and you might want to pull it up a bit to be relaxed, take that same loop and you're going to pull it through the middle loop there. Okay, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. Okay, I'm going to do that again. This one I think sometimes takes a while for you to kind of feel comfortable with it, but you can already see how those stitches are slanting. Hopefully you can see okay with this color. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over to pull through. Then you will continue to pull that 3rd loop through the 2nd one. Careful not to split your yarn there. Oops. Let me just take that out. This is the thing sometimes when yarn can be splitty. So we'll yarn over, insert, pull through, and that's why sometimes I'll pull it up just to be a little bit more relaxed. And then I'll just hold it here so that I can control the hook pulling from the 1st to the 2nd. Then we'll yarn over and pull through both of them. So that is the herringbone half double crochet stitch. And what we'll do is I'm going to get you to go all the way to the end of your row. So just stop the video there. And then I'll meet you back up when we get to our last stitch. Okay, so go ahead and I'll meet you shortly. Okay, I'm coming up to my last stitch here. So I'm just going to insert as I usually do and resolve my herringbone half double crochet. There is also such a thing as a herringbone double crochet, but that will be for another tutorial. So we've come to the end. Make sure that you still have your 10 stitches here. Okay, so if you're ever unsure, just go back and count again. So now you should be able to see that it's creating this really cool slanted effect. Okay, so now what we want to do is chain 2, 1 and 2, and then you're going to turn your work. Now remember when we chain 2 that this represents the height of your stitch. So this will count as a stitch. So this first space that you might think is a stitch, it is, but it is the base of that first one. So we're not going to work our way into it. We're going to work our way into the very next one. Okay, so you'll yarn over, insert into the 2nd stitch from the hook. Remember, this is the base of the chain 2. Into that next stitch, pull through, and you will continue on doing your herringbone half double crochet stitch. Okay, so you can see, don't worry that this is kind of bubbling here. As your work increases, that will straighten out. Okay, so again, now you just work your stitch back along the other way. And this is basically the pattern for your picnic placemat. Okay, so I'm just going a little quicker because I've gotten a bit more comfortable with it. But as always, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, pull the last loop through the 2nd loop, yarn over, pull through. I'm going to do another one here. I just want you to be able to see the effect now as you do a few more rows. So see, it's so cool. It has this really slanted look to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work up a few more rows in this more solid color so that you can really get a chance to see that effect. So other than that, go ahead and continue on. Remember, when you get to the end of the row, you will chain 2, turn your work, and then continue on. And that is basically how we will build our placemat. Okay, so if this was my mini placemat here, I started from the side and I'm going to work my way across here. Okay, so I'll meet you after I've done a few more of these rows so you can see the full effect. Okay guys, so I've done a few more rows and you should be able to see now that it's really starting to create this really lovely texture. And I just stopped short here because I wanted to just remind you, remember that at the end, you're always going to come across your chain 2 that you started your previous round with. I can just get my camera to focus. So make sure that you really go into the top of that chain 2 space. And if you ever have a hard time finding it, just turn your work where the V's are, and that's the top right there. So you would insert right there. And just be gentle. Whoops, see that? That's a common thing that happens too. So just keep it relaxed and pull through. There you go. So this way your edges will come out much more even. It's very common sometimes to actually want to go into this space here because it's just calling to you. It's saying, look at how easy it would be to just go in there. The problem is then you're going to have a lot of these extra ridges on the side. So really try to make sure that you go into the top of your chain 2. So see, if this were my placemat, I have started along the side and I'm going to work my way across. And that is it, guys. I told you it was short and sweet. You can probably do this particular project in an evening. If you like to do a lot of mindless crochet where you can sit and watch your favorite Netflix show, this is a fantastic project for it. And I just love how this particular colorway came out, especially for summertime, cottage season. This is perfect. So I am going to make a set of 4 myself to give as a gift. You can just make it for yourself. You can actually use this stitch for all kinds of wonderful things like scarves or blankets. Baby blankets would be pretty too. You could use it for a hat. It's really such a lovely versatile stitch that creates a lot of gorgeous texture, and you can use it for just about any item you'd like to make. So there you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and make sure to press subscribe if you like to stay up to date on all of our tutorials. And if you like sitting in on some of our stitch session conversations, we love having you join us and stitch along with us. And if you find that these tutorials are helpful not only to you but to your friends, please do feel free to share them. They're absolutely free, and I love sharing this craft with you all. So have a great day, take care, and happy crocheting!